Zanina gives Eliza a second chance. When she arrived at the botanical garden, with its vast expanse of exotic plants and towering palm trees, Zanina dismounted her horse and sat on a stone bench, taking in the breathtaking view. A few children chased butterflies near a tranquil pond, their laughter blending with the rustling of leaves. She closed her eyes, listening to the ceaseless chirping of tropical birds, and took deep breaths to relax. Caring for her father had left little room for outings in her daily routine. After a while, she stood up and walked a bit further, noticing a group of friends watching her. She was puzzled and assumed her dress might have gotten dirty, but as she stood to inspect it, she found a page from a newspaper stuck to the back of her waist. The page contained text in the local dialect as well as in English. She attempted to read the part written in the local dialect but failed, so she focused on the English text instead. After a moment, she murmured to herself, "I've never been involved in political matters, but I do know which party my father supports in England." A sly smile hid behind the newspaper page as she continued. "He never let us women get involved or even speak about politics." Suddenly, she let go of the page and sat back on the bench, once again observing the lush garden. She picked up her beloved parasol, one of her father's gifts, and started walking toward the spot where she had left her horse. As she walked, she thought to herself, "I will recall the beautiful image of this garden every time I feel sad." Lost in her thoughts, she lifted her head and noticed a young lady walking ahead, accompanied by a group of young men. Zanina immediately recognized her from Aunt Louisa's party. She suddenly remembered where she had seen her before. "At the opera!" Zanina exclaimed without meaning to, drawing everyone's attention. The young lady seemed to recognize her and called out from a distance, "You're the girl who... I don't remember your name." "Zanina," she responded. "I didn't hear you. Say it again." Zanina blushed with embarrassment as the group around the lady burst into laughter, mocking her. She refused to endure such rude behavior from spoiled rich kids again. Turning her back to leave, she heard a voice call out, "Wait!" The young lady approached her and apologized. "I'm sorry. My friends can be quite immature at times. You remember me, don't you? I'm Eliza, Louisa's daughter." Receiving no response, she added, "You don't talk much, do you?" "You're wrong. I talk plenty," Zanina replied naively, then continued, "I was certain I had seen you at the opera, aside from your mother's party. When I was in England, I attended the opera from time to time. I won't deny it, I love it. One evening, you sat next to me and told me to stop making a fuss because I was crying from the emotion. So, that was you? Well, with your crying, you kept interrupting my conversations. Honestly, I find the opera unbearably dull. My friends insist we go so we can set an example for the younger members of high society. Personally, I much prefer my mother's dinner parties, where I let various foolish young men entertain me and help me pass the time. Now, tell me about yourself. How do you spend your days? Sweeping, reading, and playing the piano, I imagine." "I spend my time reliving the magic of the opera. I watch the same performances over and over again because I loved the words they filled me with hope and optimism. And for now, my main occupation is avoiding the introductions to middle-aged gentlemen that your mother keeps arranging." Zanina laughed sarcastically, expecting Eliza to retaliate at the mention of her Aunt Louisa. But instead, Eliza simply yawned, showing no desire to engage in a conversation about her mother. "Louisa will never change. She did the same thing to me because she believes that with someone older, we won't miss the comforts until we die. That's how she herself got married, and in the end, her partner left her for a younger woman. Isn't that ironic?" Zanina was taken aback upon hearing this, as she had believed Aunt Louisa's husband had passed away. She thought it might be understandable that Louisa didn't want to admit that her husband had left her, and was too embarrassed to share that with everyone. However, she couldn't understand why she wanted to hide the fact that she had an adopted daughter. Was it because she couldn't have children herself? The question stirred a sense of curiosity and inner conflict within Zanina, deepening her emotional connection with Aunt Louisa and helping her better understand her. Eliza looked Zanina straight in the eyes, waiting for a response. Then Zanina said, "A mysterious woman. My mother? Yes, that's true, and we accept her with all her flaws. But truly, what's your opinion on marriage? I don't care about money. What I seek is true love. I've often asked myself if true love even exists. The love and passion I dreamed of and read about in so many books, where the princess sighs, loses her appetite, stays up late, and secretly leaves the palace to meet her lover. She doesn't care what the world says, and she doesn't worry about how to act around him because she will only reveal her true self. When he embraces her and kisses her gently on the cheek, she will soar to the sky among the stars. That's my romantic story, but it doesn't suit the face of a middle-aged man. For now, God gives me strength, and I continue to pray, just as I did when I was a little girl. It's more pleasant to have a sister than to have God or a husband. I consider men inferior. If I ever love someone, I'll have fallen into their trap, and I'll be the biggest fool on earth because they'll want me for my money." Eliza's appearance and words made Zanina reflect on her character. She thought Eliza was different from other young women. She seemed cheerful, but had one bad flaw: she loved flirting with young men more than she loved God. Eliza had changed the subject, but Zanina's mind was preoccupied with the time that had passed. She interrupted Eliza's monologue to explain that she would need to return home soon. Eliza seized the opportunity and invited Zanina and Eva to her Aunt Louisa's house. "Tomorrow morning, there will be a gathering at Aunt Louisa's house, and I want you and your sister to come." Zanina hesitated because she didn't want to see James and Aunt Louisa, who would likely pressure her about the middle-aged man. "I don't know if we can. We've left numerous unfinished tasks, and I'm not sure we'll have the time." "Zanina, I insist. Leave the work aside for a few hours. Besides, I'm sure we'll have a wonderful time." "All right then, we'll visit you tomorrow. Good night." "Goodbye, Zanina." After bidding their farewells, Zanina hurried to her horse, gently petting it in appreciation for its patience before riding off. She reached home soon after, and once she stabled the horse, she entered to greet her family. As soon as she entered, she was relieved to find that the middle-aged man and Aunt Louisa had left, but Eva and Sarah were waiting for her, and it seemed that her behavior hadn't been forgotten. Sarah immediately began to scold her, saying, "Zanina, there was no reason to leave in such a manner, and even if you had a good reason, you were late returning. Mr. Beef was waiting for you. He's charming and even asked for permission to take you for a walk in the gardens one day. Tomorrow is the perfect opportunity for you two to meet. Louisa invited you and Eva for tea in honor of her daughter Elizabeth. The truth is, I was very surprised when I learned that Aunt Louisa has a daughter," Eva commented. "Mother, did you know that Aunt Louisa has a daughter?" Zanina asked, wanting to change the subject. "I knew she had adopted one a few years ago, but she rarely spoke of her. She spends most of the year in England, and Louisa sends her money to survive. But don't change the subject, my young lady." Zanina realized there was no way to avoid the conversation, so she answered, "The reason I was late returning home was because I saw Eliza today in the gardens. Does that mean you'll be going tomorrow to meet her other friends as well?" Zanina was puzzled by her mother's persistence regarding Aunt Louisa, Eliza, and Mr. Beef, and she suspected that their money might play a significant role. Dinner was soon prepared, and when Sarah set the table, she called the girls to join their father for the meal, where they all sat down to eat. Before starting, Hawk made a gesture with his finger to signal that no one should speak and said a prayer that was unheard of. When they began eating, Eva whispered to Zanina, "Father prayed for the first time, Zanina. Doesn't that seem strange to you?" "Not at all," Zanina replied calmly. After dinner, Zanina and Eva cleared the table, while Sarah read Hawk's favorite book in the living room until they grew drowsy and went to bed. Hawk's health seemed to remain stable as his family took constant care of him. His memory sometimes showed signs of improvement as he would recall the army and other aspects of his past, which he tried to incorporate negatively into his personality and daily life with his family. At other times, he transformed into a different father, affectionate, cheerful, and pleasant, which made Sarah feel pity for him, overcoming her hatred and reading him various books. Undoubtedly, one of his greatest improvements was his prayer to God that evening, something he had never believed in before. When bedtime came, the two sisters went to their room and lay in their beds. Eva fell asleep immediately, while Zanina lay awake, thinking about her new friend. Waiting for dawn, time seemed to move slowly, and she couldn't fall asleep. Many thoughts troubled her mind until she eventually drifted off to sleep.